So if you've been to a Regal movie theater within the past year or so, you've definitely seen this trailer.
It's all happening.
This thing is nicer than my apartment.
And there's just so much hate for it on the internet. And honestly, understandable. It is super cringe. None of the references really make sense or go together. It's super forced and pandery. This is my friend Cooper.
Hello.
Cooper, you're in my Regal ad video. Can you want to just give me your opinions on the Regal ad?
Okay, so every time the ad comes up, I have one thought that annoys me to no end. I don't know who it is. I think it's not, maybe when he's talking to Danny Trejo, maybe that's a later part, but some guy comes up and is like, hey, can I sit here? And the other dude is like, you can't sit with us.
Yes.
And then he says, so you're saying there's a chance?
So you're telling me there's a chance, yeah.
No, there is not a chance.
I think, all right. You know what? Well said. I have some differing opinions to you. Actually, you're right. You're just entirely right. You're right. Yeah.
I don't miss with my Regal ad opinions.
So if my friend Cooper's explanation isn't enough, people don't like this ad. And so I wanted to do sort of a live reaction to it, mostly because I have a lot of things to say about it. And here's my hot take. I love this ad. It's awful, but I cannot help myself from just absolutely cracking up every time I am in a Regal theater. And there have been times where I've explicitly decided to go to a Regal theater just so I can watch this ad because it makes me laugh so hard. And something I find interesting about the Regal ad is on the surface, it feels like such an earnest attempt at something. On its surface, to me, there doesn't feel like there's anything cynical about the Regal ad. It seems like an earnest attempt at catering to movie fans, but it really just ends up feeling like pandering. And something I think that's interesting in regards to the Regal ad is, why do people love to hate earnest content, at least seemingly earnest content, so much? And I'm going to go through a few examples of just this very thing. And what I think it is that the internet is just a very cynical place. And I try to fight against that. And I think this is my way of fighting against that I love this Regal ad because it's really funny to me. Is it good? Not at all, but it is very funny. So let's just watch it. Okay, so the video that I'm watching is Albert Quo in Pepsi Zero Sugar plus Regal Great Movie Lines Live Here commercial. Albert Quo, I assume, is in this commercial and is posting this, for his reel to get cast in other things. And I just want to say, blanket statement first, no hate to any of these actors. They didn't write this commercial. Also, I really love Danny Trejo. He's a gem. I loved him in Muppets Most Wanted, which is a movie I don't love, but I love that he just plays himself in Muppets Most Wanted. I love him in that movie. He plays like a prisoner in the film, and he's never named until like halfway through the movie, where Tina Fey's character is like walking down to all the cells and saying goodnight, and all of a sudden she just says, "Good night, Danny Trejo," and you're like, oh my god, it's just Danny Trejo, and I love that. Danny Trejo is awesome. Anyway, on to the Pepsi Zero commercial that I'm going to meet ride. I would like to say I don't really support Regal or Pepsi either. They're very big corporations. They're not the ones I think that are defendable in this ad. Let's just watch it.
It's all happening.
This thing is nicer than my apartment.
Okay, so right off the bat, we're just jumping into the movie lines here. This thing is nicer than my apartment is, I believe, from one of the Beverly Hills Cop movies. And that joke is really funny because he's in a cop car in the movie, I believe. And he says, oh, this thing is nicer than my apartment because he's in the back seat of a cop car. What makes it not funny in the Regal ad is that he's in a very nice movie theater. And so, yeah, of course it's nicer than your apartment. It's big as shit. It also has big LED lights over everything. It's a very pretty looking place and pristine that supposedly in our brains Regal theaters are super clean, but every time I've been in one there's been some vomit. Just right off the bat, we have a line that doesn't make sense. Let's just continue.
This thing is nicer than my apartment.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Okay, great. From Airplane, that line makes some amount of sense. I don't understand why someone would be shocked that a giant movie theater that is, perfectly lit and big and beautiful in this film would not be nicer than this random guy's apartment, especially if he lives in LA. He probably just has a pretty small apartment. Literally, we're 11 seconds into this ad and nothing makes sense, which is why I love it. Like, that is so funny that so little of this works. And I think that is amazing. Okay, moving on.
And don't call me Shirley.
Oh, a little beauty shot of Pepsi. Boy, I could sure go for a Pepsi right about now. I feel bad for anyone who has to carry Pepsi in their establishment because they probably just get asked for Coke so regularly. And they always have to say, would you actually like Pepsi? And that just sounds so miserable. And the answer, for me at least, would always be no. Why would I want Pepsi? It tastes awful. The people who are like, I don't taste a difference, Pepsi and Coke are the same, are not people who are actually tasting it, right? Like, Pepsi is markedly sweeter than Coke, and it's just like drinking candy. Anyway, I'm getting on too many tangents watching this. Popcorn shot.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Okay, so a little Regal Unlimited plug. I can't imagine having this sort of conversation with a guy serving me popcorn where we both just, know this movie quote and reference it. And I would never do that. I would be way too embarrassed to even quote something unprompted to anybody. I'm one to, regularly, every once in a while, I'll throw out a little, fun, obscure quote. But just like, to someone in service, I would hate to put that, I'd hate to have them have to, rack their brain for what I'm referencing. And I feel like half the time I would say that and they wouldn't get it. Like, I would say that to them. I would say any quote from a movie, right? I would be like, look at Banner, Michael. It wouldn't apply because this one barely applies either. And they would be like, what? Is that from something? Am I supposed to get that? Don't do this to anyone who works in a service job. They don't want to hear it from you.
Mr. Musk.
Okay, I don't like how horny this guy is for popcorn. Actually, I do love it. I think that's a very funny aspect. I believe this is the guy who posted this, Albert Quo, which is even funnier that he posted a video of him just, thirsting over some popcorn. But I don't want to keep talking about this. We're about to get to my favorite line.
That's gonna leave a mark.
She's beauty and she's grace.
It's great. It's just like...
Hey, you guys!
I love Hey You Guys. My favorite part about Hey You Guys is last time I went to a Regal theater, I guess it wasn't that recent, I saw Haunted Mansion, which was not a very good movie. I got a cup that said Hey You Guys on it, and it broke me. It just entirely broke me. Like, you can't make Hey You Guys the Regal thing.
What the fuck? Hey, you guys.
Like, it's not a quote from Regal. It's not even really a quote from Goonies, because in Goonies, it is a reference to the electric company, which is so like, there's so many. Imagine describing that to someone from a different country who just doesn't know anything about American pop culture. I feel like half the people watching this ad only get it maybe from Goonies. Even then, a lot of kids probably haven't seen Goonies. And then the people who have watched Goonies might not even get that it's a reference to electric. It's just, I love it so much. I love how earnest she is with her Hey You Guys. Like, imagine walking into a movie theater and addressing people. Like, how amazing is that?
Hey, you guys!
And everyone, the direction of this moment is great. This guy in the pink shirt is terrified. He's like, like exactly my reaction. That's what I would do if someone burst in and screamed, Hey You Guys.
It's not a man purse, it's called a satchel.
You can't sit with us.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Okay, great. This is the thing that everyone hates the most about the Regal ad. Yes, that line does not make any sense, but it kind of does. Like, if you really think about it, it makes a little bit of sense. It's like, hey, you can't sit with us. So you're telling me there's like a chance that I could sit somewhere. It's a thinker. If you think about it, this Regal ad is really good. I fear I'm not selling anyone on this ad. I think it's so bad it's good, though, right? Like, every line does not work. Like, they chose the worst movie lines. And that's what's so like, how do you mess up that badly on a movie theater pre-show? That's so baffling and awesome to me. Let's just continue. Danny Trejo.
I know it was you, Fredo.
Okay, this one doesn't make sense to me at all, and no one is ever talking about it. The Godfather 2 line, I know it was you, Fredo. You lied, you know. You broke my heart. When he says that, what is he referring to? That he drank all of his soda? He's because you see him finishing his soda, and then he flames someone up. Danny Trejo's character is just delusional. He drinks his soda, immediately. He's like, oh no, I'm out of my soda. I know that you drank my soda. Like, this guy is just crazy. And I love that. And Danny Trejo totally, he understood. He understood that that's what he was going for, right? He was like, I need to play just someone who's absolutely bonkers and delusional. And would blame this person in the Anthony Fantano flannel next to me for drinking my soda that I just finished. That's the craziest one. That's the one where they clearly were just like, oh, what's some other good lines? Oh, Godfather 2 has a bunch of lines. Oh, the most famous line is about Fredo and how he betrayed, what's his name? Oh, no. What's his name? He's in Jack and Jill. Al Pacino. I remembered Al Pacino's name because of Dunkachino. Michael Corleone, played by Al Pacino. Yeah, from Dunkachino. I really hesitate if I should cut that out or not. I really want to. I don't want people to know that that's how I remembered Al Pacino's name. I've seen him in so many movies, and I just sometimes I forget his name. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is the worst line in the entire thing in terms of making sense. Like, it just truly makes no sense. And then she hits him with the clueless as if, which also doesn't make sense. She's like, this is my cup, as if I drank all of yours, which I guess it does make sense. But I'm still mad about it.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Okay, so we get the elf quote by someone dressed up as Wednesday Addams, which just baffles me. Like, why? What is the point of that? And I just don't understand what they were going for here. This scene is breaking my brain a little bit. Why is she dressed up as Wednesday Addams? Why does she whisper across this woman? Like, this woman can hear her talking to Danny Trejo. It's just, I just hate that one. Oh, she's talking to this other guy. That's right. Who's just like, oh, I'm eating my popcorn. Which also, like, God, have you ever had Regal popcorn? It's so bad. And then Danny Trejo shakes it at him, which is funny. Great moment from Danny Trejo. God bless his heart.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
So yeah, that line also doesn't make sense. The Casablanca line. It does make sense in the film, but in this setting, they really just wanted to tag, clearly. And so they're like, oh, the movie. So now that we've watched the entire Regal ad, I give it 5 stars. I think it's perfect. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It is baffling how little it makes sense, but it's so funny. I perk up in my seat every time it plays. Like, every time it plays, I'm like, oh, yay. I get to watch the bad Regal ad and look at people's reactions, and the people just hate it. Everyone just hates it. And it's so funny to me. It's a great experience. Drop your cynicism, everybody. Go and enjoy the Regal ad, because truly, how often do we get something this bad? Like, how often in the mainstream do we get to just watch something that everyone agrees is horrible? Why do we look at that, and why does that make people angry? Like, to me, when something is that bafflingly bad, it can only be funny. Like, it's only funny because of so many reasons. Like, how did this get through so many layers of just like approval, and how did no one just point out, like, these lines don't make sense? Like, did ChatGPT write this? I would entirely believe that if ChatGPT just wrote this entire script. So it should be funny. Like, just laugh at it. It can't hurt you. Like, it really can't hurt you. You are the only person restricting yourself from having a good time at the movies when this plays. It's really funny if you just let it be funny. And you know it's funny because everyone hates it. I think it is important to understand, when enjoying something like this, what it is. This is an ad by Pepsi and Regal, who are giant corporations who probably want to just, rob you blind. That's probably, it's not a super informed opinion to say, but knowing how much each of these companies are worth, I think it's a fair thing to say. And at the end of the day, I think the grossest part about this ad is that it is just a corporation trying to pander to this, generation of people who love to just quote things, like millennials and Gen X and Gen Z. All of us love to just quote the things we know. And there's nothing really wrong with that, on a social level. Like if you're just with your friend and you say something like, look at Banner. I don't know why I can only think of this Arrested Development quote, look at Banner, Michael. What's another quote? When I was in New York with my friends, we constantly were singing King of New York. Just pastrami on rye with a sour pickle, constantly. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is good humor with your friends. But on a level like this is when it starts to bum me out, because it's just clearly trying to pander to people like me who love to quote movies and stuff. And I just think on a level of commercials and, actual content and art, it is a little hacky to just, quote things. I've talked about this at length in multiple videos, how much I don't like pop culture references. And I think this is just an example of that to the umpth degree. As much as I love the Regal ad, it is easy to point out its actual flaws. I just do think this mass hatred of it is a little out of nowhere and for the wrong reasons. Yeah, it's a bad ad. Every company has made a bad commercial. But why are we just we're only making fun of this because the lines don't make sense together, which is what I did at the beginning of the video. But now I'm just trying to make it clear, we should hate this because it's trying to pander to us in a really hacky way that we shouldn't let work. So yes, it's good to make fun of the commercial, but there's always going to be commercials to make fun of. So why don't we actually look at the real issues here, right? I don't know. But I do love it because it really is just the epitome of poor marketing and bad understanding of your audience. Why did they ever think that this would work? It's bizarre to me. I wanted to end this video with a hot take that might get me canceled, and it's that the Regal ad is 1,000 times better than the Nicole Kidman AMC ad. I'm sorry. That ad sucks, and I think we're forgetting that because this ad is just kind of objectively worse in every way. That's about it for this video. It was pretty unscripted. This was my entire script for the video, just one page of my notebook that I write everything in. So if you like this sort of content that's just unscripted and just kind of rant stuff, it helps me warm up for my actual videos. If you like that kind of content, comment down below. I'm not sure how many people who watch my actual channel are going to see this one, but it was just a video that I really wanted to make, but didn't think would be super suited for the main channel, and I didn't feel like actually writing out a script because I knew I would just have a lot to say about it otherwise. So if you liked that, comment down below. I might take suggestions for these warm-up videos. If you have anything that you might want to hear my opinions on, be that theater-related or anything like this, just really anything that you might want to hear my opinions on, comment down below. I will read all of the comments on this channel because this channel is chill. This is the one where we just kind of vibe. I'm just having a good time. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. Anyway, goodbye. Thanks for watching. I think my second channel is called Maxwell to the Green right now. I might change that. I'm just still talking for no reason. I should probably just end this. Anyway, goodbye. God bless your heart. Drink yerba mate. I'm not sponsored by them, but you should. It's a very good drink. Enlightenment forever. Goodbye.
Filling my diary with stickers. My mom screams, "Get down here, Portia!" And I just say whatever.